is a Project B.A.I.T. news analysis, the Rambo report for my people. Like this happened. It took us 47 years to reach the stage. We're at it. It's for my people. Project B.A.I.T. Our logo. Okay. But it is, in that sense of the word, even though it took us that long to get it, it is quite ordinary. I mean, one of the things I've noticed since I've been wearing the cap is other caps. You know, if you got something that you feel is your own, that you identify with, then that allows you to sit back and observe others from an entirely different point of view. You know, up until this, I was wearing just a regular old cap. But now I got a different attitude, and I see caps, and I'm getting information about it because now I'm carrying one. But in that sense, it is very ordinary, very ordinary. And that's all I think people should really strive or even need to be, is ordinaries. We don't, and I don't think we should even utter the word revolutionary. You know, a lot of black folks I read, have read for decades, off and on. The first thing they want to talk about is making the so-called quote-unquote, but they don't put it in quotation marks, the revolution. And that they're revolutionaries. They're the vanguard. You know, I think it's a big mistake. We don't need to be revolutionaries. We don't need to be evolutionaries. I think we need to be just ordinaries. Just ordinary folk. Frankly, revolutions are rare. Every 100 years, in this case, 47 years. You have to really pick out certain, dynamically unusual circumstance to have a revolution. More than that, and they never talk about it, these pundits, is that when you have a revolution, you have a counter-revolution. I mean, inevitably, at least it seems to me in my studies of so-called revolutionary movements, in every instance there was a counter-revolution. Fact of the matter is, frequently the counter-revolution had the circumstance, political and social and cultural circumstance, end up worse than it was before the revolution. All right? But even if you are going to prosecute a revolution, you shouldn't call a press conference to announce it. Okay. But let me talk about a couple revolutions that you and I are both aware of. The printing press was a revolution. Okay, technologically speaking, the printing press was a revolutionary advance. And there was no going back, there was no counter-revolution after that one. And it enabled the masses of people to have printed literature that they could use to read or learn to read. It changed the whole dynamic of communication, of education. The printing press, that was revolutionary. The computer and the internet, which evolved out of it, is revolutionary. There's no going back. The computer and the internet age is going forward. I mean, there are folk who would like to stop it, Luddites as such, okay, would like to turn it back, but they can't. I mean, it's impossible. The folk, the innovators who created the computer are constantly moving it forward, making it do more and more. It has revolutionized communication. The wheel, the simple wheel, one of the 7 basic tools, was a revolution. It made transportation and the hauling of goods just totally different. And you see it all the time, but you take it for granted. In fact, now children, young people take computers and smartphones and the internet for granted. They don't see, they didn't and haven't lived through a non-computer age. That was revolutionary. Math was a revolutionary development. There have been revolutions, but social or political revolutions are rare. And we shouldn't even worry about them. We shouldn't even talk about them, particularly in our case, okay? We are in about as worse a position to prosecute a revolution as anybody could be, okay? We're in the belly. Now, evolution. We don't have to worry about that either. Evolution takes thousands, tens of thousands of years. Evolution produced Europeans out of Africans. I mean, at one time, everybody was from Africa, and hey, the folk were black. I mean, black. It's like our logo, black. In evolution, after the migration, Africans migrated throughout the world, migrated up into frigid climes and made a biological adjustment, okay? Took tens of thousands of years to develop Europeans. And that's not showing any sign of reversing itself. So that the key is to be ordinary. Like the bus riders that I ride with every day, they're ordinary folk. Neighborhood people are ordinary. Church-going people are ordinary. Most people are ordinaries. This has been a Project B.A.I.T. News Analysis, the Rambo Report for my people.
The Saturday Irregulars, an urban think tank, meets weekly from 1 p.m. to 3 p.m. across the street from Belle Isle at the northeast intersection of East Jefferson and East Grand Boulevard. No leaders, no elections, no offices, no dues, no in-groups. Thinkers and students are welcome. A choice, not an option.
Little Rock Baptist Church. Come and receive your blessings at the historic Little Rock Baptist Church, 9000 Woodward Avenue, 313-872-2900. Worship services are 10 a.m. and Sunday school 8:45 a.m. Enjoy an experience that will warm your heart and feed your spiritual soul. Little Rock Baptist Church.
Hi, I am Divine with the Generation X and Millennial For My People report. I would like to thank those of you who have been liking our new Facebook fan page, which is FMP by Project B.A.I.T, that you can pull up and access For My People. There you'll get a chance to see some behind the scene footage, as well as other viewpoints and thoughts, perspectives, writings that we as For My People issue on a regular basis. In one of my segments, I talked to you about Blight here in the city of Detroit. And when I talk to you about Blight, I talk to you about how we need to do a self-reflection on the role we as Black people played in Blight. I talked about the economics of drugs and the whole impact it had on our communities in Detroit, from the east side to the west side. How it impacted us, how some of the homes were devastated, how families were left decapitated in a sense. However, in this segment, I want to go a little more deeper in regards to the self-reflection of how we are perpetuating Blight. And when I mean perpetuating, I'm speaking about how we unconsciously litter in our own communities. Well, what do I mean? Well, I've had some opportunities to be driving down the street in an all-Black neighborhood behind Black individuals. And when we come to a complete stop, the window is rolled down and they just dump trash out their window. Bottles, tissues, potato chip bags, you name it, it was being poured out the window. Roll their window back up and just keep on rolling. So where does that trash go to? Well, we know the city, as David said, comes through maybe twice a year to do street cleaning. So the predominant of that trash is blown to the side of the street or blown down the road to one of those vacant fields, or, hey, blown onto your footsteps of where you live. So now it comes to, how do we hold ourselves accountable from doing this? Because what we're doing is we're putting trash on top of trash, yet pointing to someone else and wanting them to come and clean up our own trash. And we're actually putting out ourselves. I had an opportunity to ride one of the DOT bus lines last week. And as I was sitting there, there was an older gentleman, and he was scratching off lottery tickets. So the older gentleman was to my left. Then there was a young boy. He had to be about 10 years old that was sitting right in front of me. And as the older gentleman finished scratching, he made about 5 or 10 lottery tickets. He ripped them up and then proceeded to just throw them down on the bus. So I said, did you see the garbage bag that's right up there at the front where the driver is? And automatically he went into defense mode. Do you work for them? I simply responded, hey, no, but you're my elder and you're setting an example for me and the young boy who's sitting right in front of me. He looked at me and cringed himself. He said, anybody else ain't gonna do this. So he went on and picked it up. And then by the end of the bus ride, he shared that he was retired from one of the big 3, that he enjoyed what was happening in the city, and we departed with smiles. So it's really not as scary as I thought it would have been checking somebody on littering. And please believe, when I'm walking somewhere and I have trash, I will either hold on to my trash or I will wait until I get to a garbage can. So it may sound simple or it may sound futuristic to some of you all. But when it's all said and done, we have to be accountable for how we are holding our communities. Because if we continue to just subconsciously, unconsciously, unaware, or be ignorant of the fact that we are adding to the blight and the beautification of how our communities look, then it's going to continue to look the way that it looks. There was a time when I was growing up where you would see Miss James with her wicker broom just sweeping the sidewalk. And it wasn't just in front of her house. Or you would see Mr. Charlie down the street picking up some refuge that was dropped, a couple of pieces of paper. But now in this time, looks like no one wants to pick up the trash, but everybody wants to pick up money. So if you know one thing, once you start picking up that trash, value will change. And then you don't have to go chasing money because now You'll take value in your community. You'll understand what value is. And as David says, and I believe, we'll start producing and making products and offering service and working together as a community to do things that empower us and not destroy us or degrade us. Because every time you drop a Faygo pop can, you break a Remy Martin bottle or a beer bottle or a Better Made bag of potato chips or a wrapper of Now and Laters or whatever it may be on your street corner, at the bus stop, or in front of your own house. You're taking down the value of who we are as a people. And we don't come from trash. We come from empires. We come from kingdoms. We come from legacy builders and leaders, movers and shakers. So with that being said, to my Millennial and Generation X peeps, we must raise the bar. It's one thing to understand what white supremacy has done. It's another thing to understand what Black supremacy is doing. And it's up to us to move, to push the meter, to go into something new. So I am Divine with the Generation X and Millennial For My People report.
Little Rock Baptist Church. Come and receive your blessings at the historic Little Rock Baptist Church, 9000 Woodward Avenue, 313-872-2900. Worship services are 10 a.m. and Sunday school 8:45 a.m. Enjoy an experience that will warm your heart and feed your spiritual soul. Little Rock Baptist Church.
Hi, I'm Divine with For My People. As you have seen, we have come up with our own For My People clothing line. You have come to understand what the logo means and represents and holds so dear to us for the last 50 years and counting. And now it's time for us to celebrate in a fashionable manner who we are. As you've seen over the last week, 2 or 3, I have worn my logo button-up shirt. You've seen David with his 3-headed logo baseball cap. And then we also have the RBG, the red, black, and green hoodie. On one of the other shows, you saw the black and white one. And it's very comfortable. And it's appropriate for the fall. And those of you who don't like to wear a lot of clothing in the wintertime, you can wear it in the winter. And you can see that we have detailed it out so that it connects to who we are as a people. We know the red stands for the blood of the past, present, and the future. Our ancestors, those who passed on the transatlantic slave trade during the civil rights, during 1967 riots, so on, and now in Black Lives Matter. And then we have the green that represents the Fertile Crescent, Akiba line, Africa, our earth, our land, our food source, everything that allows us to continue to grow, evolve as humans. And then we have black, the melanin, the hue, which makes us the people of who we are. That is the original creation of mankind. So the red, black, and green is significant. And that's why we want to make sure that on this particular image, logo, brand, hoodie, Here you can see one of our legacy leaders, David Rambo, one of the founders of For My People. You can see it right there. Has put so much effort into ensuring that For My People continues on for generations to come. And it's good to acknowledge what our ancestors have done, what my mentors have done, because without me acknowledging whose shoulders I stand on, then how will I know how high I need to rise? It's one thing to be a cult. It's another thing to believe in self-empowerment, community empowerment, economic empowerment. And our product line is created so that we are able to support, build, and move forward as we do nation building time, as David would say. So I encourage you, and I'm taking part as well, to visit our Facebook shop where you can purchase our hoodies, our baseball caps, our watches, and additional items as we continue to build the line. And know that when you buy Black, you build back, you invest back, and it helps us to keep coming back over and over and over again. I am Divine with the For My People Fashion Line Report.
The Saturday Irregulars, an urban think tank, meets weekly from 1 p.m. to 3 p.m. across the street from Belle Isle at the northeast intersection of East Jefferson and East Grand Boulevard. No leaders, no elections, no officers, no dues, no in-groups. Thinkers and students are welcome. A choice, not an option.
Little Rock Baptist Church. Come and receive your blessings at the historic Little Rock Baptist Church, 9000 Woodward Avenue, 313-872-2900. Worship services are 10 a.m. and Sunday school 8:45 a.m. Enjoy an experience that will warm your heart and feed your spiritual soul. Little Rock Baptist Church.